according to the National Center on Response to Intervention, it integrates assessments and intervention within a school-wide multi-level prevention system to maximize the students' achievement and reduce behavioral problems. And the RtI is broken down into 4 tiers, and within each tier they have their own breakdown. And I will be doing tier 1 along with tier 1 has 4 breakdowns, and the one I'll be talking about is the screening. Each year they screen the kids to see how they can identify the risks the child may have, or so that they can be able to prevent it. And by risk, I mean if they have learning disabilities or anything like that. The tests that they give them are really brief, and they say they do it every semester, but being in the classroom this semester and last semester, they don't do it like they're supposed to. But the screenings are very, 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 very brief, and they just ask 1 or 2 questions just to identify what the child may need. The next thing is the Common Core standards, and basically all that is so that all the students will be able to have a consistent, clear understanding of what they'll learn each year. And the Common Core standards help provide both the parents and the teachers with the information they need in order to help those students, because without the standards, we wouldn't know exactly what they'll learn.
Okay. Differentiation of instruction in the classroom. This is when the educator uses different ways of teaching students, because as you know, not all students learn the same. Some students are auditory, kinesthetic, or visual learners, and so the teacher will do what is necessary for each student to learn what he or she needs to learn. And through progress monitoring, that is just what it sounds like. Keep an eye on your students through assessments to evaluate what's working and what's not working. And this way you can improve the way you're teaching, which will also improve the way the student is learning. And that way everybody comes out on top.
Okay, so tier 2 basically answers the question of like, so they're not learning, so what do I do now? So tier 2, they basically are doing the same progress monitoring that they talked about in tier 1, and it's all like universal, just like core curriculum is. It's developed and pre-planned. So the goal at the end of basically every tier is to get them into the tier before. So the goal of tier 2 is to provide them with what they need to be able to get back into a tier 1 classroom and be learning that way. And like an example would be like if 6th graders were struggling with reading and then connecting that to the material, then they would be put in like an extra class supported by the tier 1 classroom teacher that would provide them with the skills necessary to be able to help them. But it just has to be supported by the tier 1 or it's not effective.
Tier 3 is identifying the problem of the student and deciding whether it's special needs or not. And then once that's done, the teacher comes up with a plan to help the student, and then kind of monitors the student to see if the plan's working. And then the goal pretty much is to get students back to tier 2.
Tier 4 is the last step, the Georgia tier 4. Tier 4 is the development, to develop for students who need additional support and get eligibility criteria for special program placement, such as English to speakers of other languages, get the students in special education. A little fun fact about the English learners, they do not go through 1, 2, or 3, they just go straight to 4.
Sorry. But continuing what he said, tier 4 is kind of like just like the last step. That's when they just realize it's like, okay, they went through all the other tiers, and by this step where we realize that they are going to testing, evaluation, and other things, and make sure that they qualify for those services to make sure it's just not like this over-representation, just like throwing into your board. So, another fun fact, not every state has tier 4. So, a few have even tier 5. So,
Here's a little diagram explaining or showing the different tiers and how the tiers work. We actually have a it's a pretty good metaphor, I think, for explaining the different tiers. So tier 1 is like a healthy person. Like, you know, you might go to the doctor every year for a checkup, but for the most part, like, you just kind of float through healthy. And tier 2 would be like, I need to go to a nurse, like the school nurse, because like I have a runny nose, I need to go know what's going on. They can usually help you from there. Tier 3 is when you have to go see like an actual doctor, and they're like, you have the flu, so here's the medicine you need to get better. And tier 4 is like your specialized doctors. So like if you had heart problems or stuff like that, it's a very specific and specific fix. Yeah. And so how this would apply to teachers, like to all teachers are involved in the process of identifying the different tiers and helping with the other teachers that the student has, of identifying this and monitoring it and seeing if they need to take the next step forward or back.